Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, sir. Okay, before we get into Supreme Court, while we wait for immunity, I do want to get your take on what's happening at a Fort Pierce courtroom right now. Judge Aileen Cannon holding these hearings on Jack Smith, not only his appointment, these issues will go on to Monday, where she's going to hear from prosecutors about a limited gag order for Donald Trump. Why so much hate on Judge Cannon? It does seem like she's just going slow and methodical, but if you watch liberal, left-leaning media, they're saying all sorts of terrible things about her.
Not only that, but they're saying you can't say terrible things about judges who rule in favor of the liberal side. For example, the Connecticut Bar Association said you can't be critical, essentially, of Judge Marchand, but you can be critical of Judge Cannon. Let me be very clear. Absolutely right in her judgments. Even the one that was reversed by the 11th Circuit, she was right and the 11th Circuit was wrong. She is applying a single standard of law. She is not accepting the argument side, well, this is Donald Trump, he's a terrible man. Let's rush him to trial and get a conviction before the election. She is right. The rest of the legal profession that's condemning her, including the New York Times, is dead wrong.
Professor Dershowitz, if I may drill down on a few of the threads, I know obviously one of the big ones is whether or not Jack Smith's appointment was legal. That's a big one, obviously, because the case goes away if she finds not. But even on the some of the other things, I mean, prosecutorial misconduct, if there was, certain things in this indictment she's already removed. I mean, what are some of the big concerns that you would have if you were sitting in Jack Smith's position right now? Because clearly, if they're trying to put one over her, she's not having it.
Her guns. For example, the one that caused so much criticism is she appointed an independent investigator to look to see whether or not any of the material seized from Mar-a-Lago were lawyer-client privilege. She was right to do that. The government shouldn't be looking at it, shouldn't have its own investigators. There should be an independent investigator. The 11th Circuit reversed her. The 11th, right? So here you have a liberal Democrat, me. I'm supporting Judge Cannon. I think she's been doing a wonderful job so far, going methodically, not being rushed, not backing down. She had two judges say to her, hey, you're too young, you ought to get out of this case. No, she said, I was appointed to do this case, randomly selected. I'm going to do it. I have to tell you, I am supportive of Judge Cannon, even though obviously I'm on the other side.
Well, I mean,
good job. And the liberal lawyers have been picking at her, and I hope she sticks to her guns.
Well, there's no indication she's not so far. I mean, if you're Judge Juan Merchan and your daughter can raise $93 million for Democratic candidates and you're not recusing yourself, I don't think there's a big argument for Judge Cannon just going slow and methodical. Let's talk about something that the Missouri Attorney General is doing when it comes to New York. He is filing a lawsuit against the entire state, Professor Dershowitz of New York. He says it is, quote, their direct attack on our democratic process through unconstitutional lawfare against President Trump. This is Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Will this go anywhere?
Hard to tell. There are a number of attorney generals who are actually joining the lawsuit. It's a novel lawsuit. If I had to make a prediction, I would say no, it's not going anywhere. But it makes a point politically. You should not allow one state, New York, to influence the election in this way, not only through the prosecution, gag order. So gag order today, Bragg wants to apply during the debate. So what happens if Biden Trump and says, you're a convicted felon, you've been convicted of 34, and Trump wants to say, no, wait a minute, it's not fair, the judge's daughter. No, he can't say anything about the judge's daughter. Or if he says the jurors were picked from a veneer, that guaranteed, no, he can't say that. So under the gag order, he has one hand tied behind his back. And you know who the true victims of that are? You and me. We want to be able to hear from both sides of the issue, not just one side of the issue. So New York is having, not going to have electorally because its votes are clear.
You're right, though.
Too much of an influence through the weaponization of the criminal justice system.